On this Thursday morning, police officers found guilty of gross misconduct will be automatically dismissed. These are new plans announced by the government.
Well, the move is part of a raft of reforms which include enhanced vetting and new misconduct hearings chaired by police chiefs.
The Police Federation has hit out at the changes there, the union for police officers, labelling it as a move towards kangaroo courts.
Well, let's speak to Peter Bleksley, a former detective with the Metropolitan Police, about all of this. Good morning to you, Peter. Look, despite what the Police Federation is saying here, it has been a problem for police chiefs. We only have to look to the Metropolitan Police and the terrible examples of PC David Carrick and PC Wayne Couzens, who couldn't be dismissed by the Chief Constable there.
Yes, the Commissioner of the Met Police, Sir Mark Rowley, has been very vocal in recent months, saying we need these powers. We need to get rid of the wrong uns, so please enable us to do this. Because what happened previously was that independent legal chairs used to preside over discipline panels, and there was concrete statistics that proved those legal chairs were less likely to sack rogue police officers than chief constables were. So it's a very good move that the power has been given back to the chiefs, and I'm sure as part of this now streamlined discipline process, hopefully police services can clean up their act quicker than we might have expected.
And if you're a serving officer and you know that sanction exists, Peter, do you actually think it changes behaviour? I mean, I can understand it gives authority the power to dismiss, but what about if you're a serving officer? Do you think it has any effect on the way you conduct your job?
Well, quite possibly it doesn't, but that, of course, is a large cultural shift that we need in policing, because standards have dropped so desperately in recent years, and we've seen that because of the horrendous cases that continue to go through the courts. But I want to give credit to Sir Mark Rowley here, because he pledged to the public, to you, me, and all your viewers and listeners, that he was going to clean up the Metropolitan Police. He's now clearly got the support of the Home Secretary, because it's the government that has made this announcement this morning, probably in response to Mark Rowley's repeated requests for this power. And quite frankly, policing, the trust and the confidence in policing is at such a catastrophically low level now that I'm fully supportive of any measures that helps Rowley and other chief constables smarten up their police forces, clean up their police forces, and give the public the service that they deserve.
Why did it change? Why did it become so difficult for commissioners and police chiefs to dismiss these bad apples? I was looking at the figures. The number of dismissals as a result of misconduct halved in the last year alone, from 432 to 218.
Yeah, there was a lot of dissatisfaction with chief constables presiding over disciplinary panels, and that is why some years ago the system was changed to bring in these legally qualified chairs. But their reluctance to sack officers, in some cases, was absolutely quite staggering. And I know it's very early in the morning, and I'll be as delicate as I can here, but there was one police officer that was caught on a train committing a sexual act upon himself, who went in front of a discipline panel and did not get fired.
Unbelievable.
Now, that was absolutely astonishing and of course, clearly wrong. I think we'll find now, with chief officers in charge, that an officer found doing such an abominable act will find himself out of the police service in very, very short time.
But Peter, does that reflect the way they look upon an act like that with a general member of the public? For instance, would they be saying, naughty, naughty, or you shouldn't do that, as opposed to seeing that as a sex crime?
Quite possibly, but I think it's an utterly repugnant thing. Certainly, it is not the behaviour beholden of a police officer, and it's only right that in those sort of circumstances, an officer is dismissed. There's been a problem with policing in recent years, in my opinion, that it's got a bit too fluffy. It's got a bit too wokey, and it's forgotten the meaning of the word discipline. Discipline is key to policing. both internally and externally. What I mean by that, it's got to discipline itself when it's acting amongst one another, and they've also got to be very disciplined when they're out on the streets dealing with the public. And I think there has been a slip in standards. There's been a reluctance of police officers to challenge one another's unacceptable behaviour, and I hope that this is a significant step this morning, together with other measures that will need to be brought in, because the police discipline procedure is hideously complex. But I take this morning's announcement as a piece of very good news. I'm not bothered that the Federation are throwing their toys out the pram. They often do. And let's hope we can get towards having a police service where only people that should be in the police are actually in the police.
Now, I don't know if you've been following this or not, but the most difficult police force to command in the whole country is the Police Service of Northern Ireland. The Chief Constable there is a man called Simon Byrne, and he may be facing resignation today after a meeting of the police authority. And they've met 3 times now in August over mistakes and incidents involving Simon Byrne, of political influence on arrests, on data leak, the terrible data leak that of 10,000 workers and officers' names out there on the internet in the hands of terrorists now. The pressure on police is going to be immense, and that means more form filling and maybe a chance, Peter, of these people not doing the job that we all want them to do.
Yeah, I mean, the whole system with regards to IT within police services is absolutely abominable. It's clunky, it doesn't work, it takes far too much time, and police officers are frustrated by it. With regards to the Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland, you need a particular set of skills to hold that post. In recent years, people like Sir Hugh Ord have held that job possibly more successfully than many, but it really is to some regarded as a poison chalice. To others, it's regarded as a wonderful challenge to go and police a brilliant part of the UK. We will have to wait and see about any developments today, but it's undoubted that that data breach was absolutely horrendous. Sufficient safety measures were not put in place to prevent that happening. Officers' lives could have been put at risk, which is, of course, utterly appalling. And I think, I certainly will be keeping a very close ear on developments to wait and see whether he holds on to his job or not.
What do you make of criminals being forced to attend sentencing hearings? We're going to talk about that next. But I keep hearing all this analysis by saying, oh, but you would have to bring them forcibly into the dock and you couldn't do that. And what if they create a bit of a fuss and da-da-da-da? I don't see why you can just keep them in their cell, put a camera on them and play that to the court and make them hear, whether you have to handcuff them to a desk or what, make them hear what the victims are actually saying to them. What's your view?
Well, these vile and cowardly creatures like Letby, whose name joined an ever-growing list of people who won't go into court to face their sentences, it's clearly unacceptable, and people should be in a court to hear their sentence handed down. The difficulties are, if somebody is very disruptive and they don't want to go, how will they deal with that in practical terms? Well, quite frankly, I'm up for somebody being put in a straitjacket, tied to a gurney, gagged, and literally almost stretchered into a court to hear it, if that could be done, because I think that is only right. However, my concern is that human rights lawyers would object to such behaviour. They would be taking cases to court, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want to be a part of anything that makes human rights lawyers even richer than they currently are.